Hi all, welcome back to the Final Whistle then for another match preview on channel. It's the first match preview back after the last international break now. Bloody thank God. We've got a good run of games now up until March. This one is a tough one. Leicester taking on Stoke in the Battle of the Cities at the King Power Stadium on Saturday. Stoke are high flying at the minute. They're doing very well. Victor Johansson returns home this weekend. Asmir Begovic takes on his former club. So yeah, it's two keepers who face their former clubs this weekend. Victor taking on Asmir. Let's use in the chat before we get the lads in. Caleb, how are we? Ray, hello. Good evening. Don, how are we, pal? Evening, Paul. Evening. We'll try to win. 2 on the bounce for a change. Evening, Fox Fanatics. How are we? Guys, always hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And you haven't subscribed already, please get down and do so. It'd help me out massively. And let's get the boys in. I'll tell you what, let's get Steve in first. Steve?
Hello. You can hear me now?
I can hear you better, mate.
Yes.
You were a bit quiet before, but we're good. Steve, how are we?
Yeah, not too bad. It's getting close to the end of the week, so we get the disappointment of the weekend to look forward to. Ever the optimist is being a Leicester fan.
Well, there's a lot to take from Leicester City. I think it's a big week for them, isn't it? Stoke at home, the court case, Southampton away, Sheffield United at home. Big games and a big case.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we'll get an answer next week in regards to the court case. I've predicted that it'll be around the 12th of December, which is a Friday, because there's always that deliberation between the deciding parties anyway. So I imagine it'll be in a couple of weeks' time. But yeah, difficult games coming up. An informed Stoke side, a Southampton side that are picking up wins now. They've removed their manager, and then on to Sheffield United, who also aren't doing great themselves, but can beat anybody on their day if they turn up. So not looking forward to it, Jack. It's going to be fun 3 games.
Never a dull moment when you're a Leicester fan. I think that's right. Sheffield United ain't winning games. Southampton have picked up. Stoke, a former player returns home again at the weekend, Steve. Mark Robbins, ex-Fox. One of the fans' favourites in his time as a player for Leicester. He's now at Stoke City, and he's really got his feet under the table, hasn't he? And he's really got Stoke playing some great stuff. Yeah,
well, obviously we all know that he was the Coventry manager, wasn't he, for ages. He did a really good job with them, getting them promoted from League 2 back into the Championship, and lost his job to Frank Lampard, which I don't think anyone should admit, but that's life. Decent manager to build something with, and Stoke are a good side. They've conceded the least amount of goals so far this season in the Championship, and I guess that helps when you've got the best keeper in the league, who we let go for nothing again. Like I said the other night, we let him go for nothing. Just a disgrace, an actual disgrace.
Evening, Dog. Fox Fanatics. If we beat Stoke, our fickle fans will be back on the HFS Pistol League bandwagon.
How do you know? Hey, I've already got that tweet ready to go. Thank you very much, Fox Fanatics. Leave me alone.
And then we're calling for Marty out of relegation. I honestly think it's a big 3 games for Marty. It is. These are games that we really need to get things out of. If we don't, what would it be like? 2 wins in 15, and we then start thinking to ourselves, where do we go from here, type of thing. But we have let so many go for nothing. Awful. Well, that's the thing. I mean, we could have even had Mark Robbins as manager once upon a time, by the way. I don't think he wanted it though in the end. It's not always good bringing ex-players back, is it, Steve? His managers. Robbins saved Alex Ferguson from the sack back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, that was before my time remembering football. I'm going with 98 onwards is for me. I don't remember anything before that.
Should we get our opposition in? Carl
Sure.
from Where Potters Walk.
Yeah, man.
Carl, how are we, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks. You.
Jack, is that your bloody ring camera again?
It is, mate.
Every fucking Thursday at 8:43 it goes off. Disgrace.
As soon as I mentioned Marty's name, he's at the door. I'm joking. Cole, welcome to the channel, mate. Where can everyone find you, mate? What do you do at Where Potters Walk?
So, Where Potters Walk, it's a podcast for Championship Terrace Talk. They do a load of EFL teams, and Where Potters Walk's on YouTube. You can find it on there, and it's also on Spotify as well. If you don't want to see my ugly face, you'd rather just listen to my dull, boring Stokey accent.
It's all right, mate. We've probably heard worse, to be honest. But Steve has a lot to say about different things, don't you, Steve? And we'll keep that quiet.
Oh, Stoke's a lovely place, Jack. Don't you start throwing me under the bus. I've said it's like Costa del Stoke. That is a beautiful place.
That's exactly what it says on my Twitter profile from Costa del Stoke.
Boys, Leicester take on Stoke. I'll tell you what, let's get into the opposition first then. So Stoke City, third in the Championship under Mark Robbins, 15 played, 8 wins, 3 draws, 4 defeats, 21 scored, 10 conceded, plus 11 in goal difference. Sitting pretty in third. Cole, talk to me firstly about where it's gone right for Stoke. Obviously, you've had a few non-successful managers, haven't you? Like your Schumachers, your Alex Neils. Spent a bit of money when was it, last season? He spent a big amount of money in the summer, just never really clicked. But then Mark Robbins has come in and really changed the fortunes around at the Bet365.
Yeah, pretty much hit the nail on the head there. I think we got relegated. We gave Gary Rowett the job because obviously he was a Championship manager with lots of experience, and he spent a boatload of money. He bought players that didn't want to play for the team, such as Benik Afobe, Tom Ince, many more to name, and it just didn't sit well. And then ever since, we've been under the scrutiny of financial fair play because of that money spent. We've had many experienced manager, and to be fair, we've had some real good managers. We've even had Nathan Jones, we've had Michael O'Neill, Alex Neil, and they've just never been able to put identity into the squad. And I feel like Mark Robbins, he's come back into Stoke after getting dismissed from Coventry, and he's got the players playing. He's got a bit of identity in the team. We've got sort of a style now, and the fans are backing him. The fans are behind the team. The players look like they want to play for the shirt, and he's changed us around. He really has. And he had a good season last season, finished strong in the end because we were down towards the bottom when he took over. And yeah, this season we've come out the traps flying. I'm still holding on to it's temporary because I'm a Stoke fan and I'm used to misery after misery with the football we've had. But yeah, long may this good run continue.
You rank second away from home this season. See, quite good away from home. Looking at the league, though, surely you've got to fancy your chances for the playoffs. Do you think this is a big sort of gamble now for Stoke, going from November to March? Obviously, January is going to be massive for you as well. Is there much that you really need to strengthen as well in that department? What's your sort of experiences from how you think this is going to go now with the big run of games now going forward?
I'm very much struggling to come to terms with where we are because I'm not used to it. I said at the start of the season, I thought we'd finish 12th, which would have been a massive improvement on the seasons before. Yeah. I'm still saying we will drop out of the playoffs. I do think we will. I think we'll hit a bad run of form at some point, as every club does. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to think we could stay in and around there. It comes to show when you're there late December, January. If we are in and around that top 6, I will have a little bit of hope. January will be massive for us. Defensively, we're very good, as the record shows. Keeper's excellent. We just lack, I feel, up front. We need a goal scorer. We need somebody who can put the ball away. Obviously, we had Tom Cannon on loan off yourselves last season, who come out flying. And then, obviously, you recalled us and he's absolutely ruined our season. So thanks for that.
Well, we've gone from probably ruining your season to Sheffield United, and they want to get rid of him. I think he scored like 1 goal in like 20 odd games, and he injured one of his own players in the playoff final, for God's sake. So it hasn't really gone well there. It's not gone down well at Bramall Lane with Tom Cannon. And what did we tell him for, Steve? £10 million in the end. Good money, you'd say, but Tom Cannon had a little Patson Daka moment, did he, Steve, where he scored 4 goals in 1 game for Stoke?
Yeah, well, we all were hoping that he would be a better signing for us when we signed him. You know, we thought, Jamie Vardy replacement. He's got that sort of David Nugent about him as well, the way he runs and his way into the box. But look, he hasn't hit the potential that we thought he was going to do. And fair play for the club for getting money back from him. You know, £10 million wasn't to be sniffed at. Apologies for taking him away from you guys, because I actually think he would have finished the season really well and then come into our team this summer, which is a bit annoying. But hey, you got to take the money when you can, I guess, because he's proven that, you know, realistically, he's probably not at the level that the money suggested he was.
Carl, Paul asks, Robert Thomas, key player this season for you, look. What's he got? 4 assists. He scored quite a few goals for you as well, hasn't he? What's he scored? 4. So he seems to be banging them in and assisting this season. A real key person for Stoke. How good has he been for you guys?
He's been instrumental. He's the reason, a majority of the reason why we are where we are, to be honest with you. He's assisted so many. He's scored some. He's been a winger that we've wanted for so long. I think we've had wingers who've been scared to run at opposition. Sober Thomas does that. He'll run at a defender. He'll try to take him on, and his delivery into the box is phenomenal. His set pieces as well, his corners and that. We've not had a corner taker who can beat the first man in about 6-7 years. So it's refreshing to see that. But you just know on Saturday now, I've said that he'll struggle to beat the first man. He's been a very good signing, but what I will say is the last 2 games, he's dropped off a little bit. He's had a little bit of a dip in form, I'd say. So I'm hoping that he can rediscover that and get back to it, but he's one hell of a player for us.
Steve, Victor Johansson, we know him well at Leicester. 6 clean sheets this season for the Stoke number 1. One of the best goalkeepers in the Championship, if not the best, I'd say, to be honest. And teams come sniffing around with him, didn't they, in the summer? Well, some were offering £15 million in that sort of region. So it shows how good he's been. He's an instrumental part as well, isn't he, to how Stoke have done this season, because he's keeping the goals out.
Yeah, so he's the player that I was always a bit like, we keep hold of him. He's a good lad, and then we just let him go. He went on a free transfer to Rotherham, I believe. Is that right? And then you guys signed him from there. What a joke. What a joke our club is to let a player like that, who is clearly the best goalkeeper in the Championship, has a lot of potential. Okay, he's 27. So as goalkeeping terms, they're into their peak in the next couple of years. So he's still got a long way to go. And somebody that, at the time, we had Danny Ward and Everson as our goalkeepers. I would have taken Johansson over those 2 any day. But look, it is what it is. You've picked up a great goalkeeper for the price you paid for him. And you could quite easily sell him for double, if not triple the amount, if you don't go up this season. So fair play. But yeah, I'm not happy about coming up against him again on Saturday, because he will make some good saves. We did that with Everson at the start of the season against Preston. He made a couple of good saves. And Johansson will do the same. You'll probably get this, Carl, that we're a bit depressed on Leicester at the moment. So most of our answer is going to be like, for fuck's sake, this is shit compared to, we're going to smash these fuckers. It's like...
It's been like that for being a Stoke fan for many seasons. Since we got relegated, every season's been like that. Speaking about Victor Johansson, he single-handedly kept us in the league last season. I'm adamant that if we hadn't got him in goal last season, we'd have been done, dusted by December, January. Some of the performances he put on last season for us were out of this world. And I do think that if we don't get promotion, which I don't think we will, I think next season he will be a Premier League keeper, because I look at the Premier League, you've got some good keepers at the top end of the league, haven't you? But he'd fly into a mid-table Premier League side, absolutely fly into one.
I agree. Sorry about the crashing if there's any technical problems. I'm just trying to sort out different things behind the scenes.
There's definitely an East London club that would look at Johansson, wouldn't they? You know, they do like a Scandinavian goalkeeper in West Ham. You could quite easily see him going there and doing a job for them.
Oh yeah, easily. I mean, there's many Premier League clubs. I mean, look at the disaster. I mean, this will sound strange. I'll probably get ridiculed for it, but look at the disaster Manchester United have had in goal, keeper after keeper, since David De Gea gone. It may sound stupid to some people, but he isn't as worse as that Onana they had in goal. He certainly isn't as bad as him. He'd have done a far better job. So I do think he'll get into a Premier League side, and you know, it's easily a mid-table team or a team pushing for Europa, a Europe spot. He'd get in there and he wouldn't look out of place.
Steve, Leicester, we're coming off the back of a win against Norwich. It weren't the most convincing win, was it, Steve? Poor for 75 minutes, and then it were a bit of a smash and grab at the end. To be fair, how are you expecting Leicester to get up for this one, even if we can, to be honest? Because we go into this game, 2 wins in 11. It's not looking good, Steve, for Leicester on form. This is probably one of the toughest weeks for the Foxes.
Yeah, I mean, this will make or break it for the manager, in my opinion. You know, if we'd have lost against Norwich, there's no doubt in my mind he would have lost his job. Because you can't take that sort of form into an international break where there's 2 weeks to bring somebody else in. The big issue with Marty is that he likes to play a certain way, and he hasn't changed from that tactic or style of football, and he's been found out quite regularly. At Norwich, we got very lucky with the fact that they scored and then sat back for the rest of the game, hoping to defend the lead, where, you know, we're quite good at coming onto a team when we've got the ball. The issue is that if you press our defenders, we are prone to make a mistake all the time. So it's a bit frustrating. I can't imagine there'll be many changes. I know that we'll probably have Begovic in goal, and the back four will probably be Luke Thomas, Okoli, Vestergaard, and Pereira. And then will there be changes from the midfield upwards? I'm not sure. I think maybe Bobby comes in and Mavididi, but realistically, that's the best we're going to get. And even then, we're not sure if they actually turn up, because they didn't at Norwich for the first 75 minutes. They didn't against Blackburn. They didn't against, you know, all the other teams that we've failed to score or even beat in the last few weeks. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. Usually, I'm quite confident.
Tomorrow, you mean Saturday?
Record against them. Sorry, Saturday. I'm basically off
tomorrow. I didn't realise we're playing them on Friday night.
So yeah, I'm not very confident, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm the same. You know, I look at Stoke, and you know, they're doing better than we are. They're where we would hope to be with the squad that we've got, but we've not come down in any of the right mentality, I'd say, to be honest. Off the field issues, on the field issues, we just, you know, a lot of sides always come to us and say, yeah, it probably is the best time to play Leicester. And you're probably right, it is. You know, Stoke are up there because they're consistent. Middlesbrough, Coventry, you know, it's been some would call it a different sort of breath of fresh air for the Championship this year, with the parachute payments nowhere to be seen with the sides that have come down. But no, I think it'll be a tough test. You know, Leicester we've got to go play for 90 minutes if we are to beat you lot, to be fair. I think if we'd have played you just before the international break, Carl, I think if you guys had gone 1-0 up, I think you'd probably have seen that game through. But this is a game of nitty gritty, should we call it? I don't think this will be a smash and grab by any far of the imagination. I think Stoke will come and they'll want to get something out of this. So I know you guys are coming off that 1-0 defeat, aren't you, to Coventry? Was it Thomas who scored the goal for Carve, that overhead kick? What sort of reaction do you think you'll get from the Stoke side?
I'm hoping for a positive reaction. I'm hoping that they try go for it and get back to winning ways. I think that game against Coventry, we give Coventry far too much respect. I think with them blowing teams apart with goals, we sort of set up that game for defend, which we did very well for 85 minutes, and then they caught a wonder goal, like an overhead kick. So I think they won't put that wrong right. But we do struggle against you. You know, last season we got absolutely battered by it, the Bet365. We come to the King Power. We always seem to struggle there. So I do think you've got that in your favour. You do seem to be one of them sides that always seems to get one on us, especially in the last few seasons, even the Premier League days. I remember going 2-0 up, and then you come back 2 each, and you always seem to find a way against us. That's how it's always felt when we played Leicester.
Yeah, we've got a good record. Haven't lost to Stoke in 10, by the way. Head of this week. Touch wood, we bloody keep that going, because I don't want to 6 wins, 4 draws. But Leicester haven't kept a clean sheet in 9, so I'm expecting you guys to score. Stoke, Sorba Thomas is ranked in big chances. He's created 10 this season already. Stoke have scored 9 goals in their last 5, so you are firing in front of goal. The thing is, what I find though, Cole, is you guys have got a striker. Leicester haven't. And it's like every game we go into, it's like playing with 10 men.
It's funny you should say that, because just before them last flurry of goals that we've had, we were struggling in front of goal. We've got a striker. He's on loan from Man City, that Mubama. He hasn't been firing. He's a real workhorse. And then he scored a hat-trick against Bristol. And he's looked a lot better since then. Most of our goals have come from the midfield. We've got Million Manouf and we've got Sorba Thomas. They've been contributing a lot, as well as Lewis Baker. So it's not like we've got a clinical striker, and that's what we do need in January. We're just lucky that we've got a really good midfield, to be fair. The 2 wingers have been helping out massively with the goals.
Yeah, Mubama scored. What's he scored? 5? Is it 5 goals this season already for Stoke? Yeah, I'm looking at the matchup now. So Abdul Fatawu's got 3. Mubama's got 5. Expected goals, 4.9. Mubama going into this game. Abdul's is a 2.5. 3 assists for Abdul, 1 through Mubama. Minutes per goal for Mubama's 219 minutes per goal. 1.7 on average shots on target a match. I mean, that's probably more than what Patson Daka's added about, what is it, Steve? 353 days since he last scored for Leicester City, by the way. So I think we're bloody praying for miracles, Steve, this week, because if Patson Daka doesn't score this week, mate, it's going to be a year since he did score.
No. So it'd be a year the following week, wouldn't it? So 350.
That's what I mean.
355, I think it is, on Saturday. So it'd be a couple of weeks.
That's his bread and butter, Fox. You know, that's his bread and butter. That's like Ipswich keeps saying about George Hurst. It's the bread and butter.
Yeah, he's not going to score. He's not going to score, Jack. He's not.
What's your thoughts on Leicester, Cole? Looking how the Foxes have started in the Championship so far, are you surprised?
Very, very. I mean, when you look at who come down, you come down a couple of seasons ago and flew straight back up, didn't you? You just look at Leicester as a very good side. You always have done, you know, since the Premier League days. You got in there and you were in there for many years like us. And I am surprised to see where you are at the minute and how you've been performing. It is a big surprise. I expected you Southampton and probably Norwich. That's my top 3 who I thought straight away, and the rest will be battling. But obviously, I don't know. Obviously, there's a lot going on at your club behind the scenes. Yeah. So it's strange to see. Like I say, I still think of Leicester as a very big club with your money and everything else. And that squad you've got, really, they should be doing a lot better than what they are, really.
Steve, what's your thoughts on Stoke?
Well, you've been in the Championship for a little while now, haven't you? So would you suggest that you've sort of fallen back into time? Because you were a big Premier League side for a long time with Tony Pulis and a certain style of football that seems to be coming back into the game now. So obviously you've been in the Championship for a little while. Would you say yourself as a Championship club going forward, or would you hope that you'd be a Premier League club and that's where you should be?
I don't really want to sound big-headed. I mean, how can you say you're a Premier League club unless you're one of the top 6? But that is where I'd like to see us. Of course I would. Every club wants to make that. I don't fancy watching VAR every week and waiting for decisions. But ultimately, as a football fan, that's what you want, isn't it? You want your Man Cities, your Man Uniteds and Liverpools at your ground. You want them sort of games. I've been used to seeing us as a Championship club now for many, many seasons. It's a tricky one, really. I don't fall into this bracket of fans who say we are a big club, because we're not. We were once an established Premier League club. We weren't ever a big club. I think perhaps we were batting above what we should have been when Mark Hughes come in and he bought Barcelona players. And we got used to that. And fans don't like where we are now. Some of them have been spoilt by that football. But we are a Championship side now, fortunately, because last season we could have been a League One club. Let's get established as a Championship club and try to keep pushing, and then see if we can match the big boys again one day.
I'll tell you what, I hated Bojan for Stoke. Hated him. Absolutely. Every time he played against us, he'd score. Every time I could Stoke away, that guy would always score. And I'd be like, yeah, you know what's coming in this game. And Shaqiri's there as well, and and he was a good player for Stoke. Some good players, I think.
Marco Arnautovic as well. We had Steven Nzonzi, who's back with us.
Yeah. You've had some very good players. You've sort of had a fall off, haven't you, from that sort of era, but never really recovered from it. I think last time you was really up there in the Championship would have probably been the year when Tony Pulis took you up, when you really relegated Leicester City in the last game of the season.
I remember that well, yeah.
Yeah, darkest day in our club's history.
I think we were on the pitch, weren't we, with it, Matt, in the 85th minute. We were all waiting for a run on the pitch. Yeah, I think you've got us back in the past. Like I say, our worst nightmare. Yours has been Bojan, ours has been Vardy, because I love him as a player. I absolutely love him as a character, but every game he'd score against us. And funnily enough, I always got comparisons. I think I had the Leicester City fans when you come to our ground, and they were looking at me for some reason. They said I look a little bit like Jamie Vardy, and they all started chanting, "You're just a shit Jamie Vardy" to me, and I thought, fantastic.
I'll tell you what, you take that, to be fair.
I'd take his footballing ability, yeah.
You take his money. You take his money.
I'd take his money, and I'd just like it. Perhaps, even a tenth of his footballing ability, and I've perhaps been better than the five-a-side player that I am now.
It's someone we miss deeply. Let's be fair, Steve. We'd love another Jamie Vardy up front, wouldn't we, at this point of the season? Steve, last time we played Stoke at the King Power, 7th of October 2023, 2-0. Harry Souttar played against his former club then. I think that was the first time Harry Souttar played against Stoke since leaving, I believe it was. Iheanacho scored and Vardy scored. I remember Vardy winding up with Stoke fans that day. They were giving him a lot of abuse, and then they started that chant off, didn't they, Steve, of your wife's a grass and this, that, and the other. And you know what it's like, Steve. But yeah, I think Stoke were. They were on you guys on a decent run of form back then, wasn't you? When we played you last time in the Championship, you were on a bit of a good run, a fortune.
Yeah, we were. I think it was Alex Neil wanted, and I think we just come there and we just looked as shadow of the team that we were. We give you too much respect, and obviously they give Vardy stick, which I was at the King Power that day, and I thought I aren't joining in because I know what's going to happen. Lo and behold, 2 minutes later, bang. That's karma.
Let's have a look at foot in both camps. We will go with Adi Akinbaye. one of the worst ever strikers in Leicester's bloody generation of history, Steve. Did all right at Stoke, I think. I think he bloody even scored more goals at Stoke, to be honest. He got 11 goals for us in 60 games. I think he did better elsewhere, Steve Akinbaye. I think he had a decent run at Burnley, decent run at Wolves. Never hit off at Leicester.
Well, no. Well, we were for a very long time said he was the worst signing we've ever had. But I think Patson Daka takes that award now. So
you'd call him the modern day Akinbaye, would you? Yeah.
No, I wouldn't even compare him to Akinbaye, because at least Akinbaye had a decent season. Like, he started off pretty well. It was just second season he was shit. Whereas Daka hasn't started well and he's just been shit. So I'll be honest, I was excited. I remember the day we signed Akinbaye. I was excited to get a decent striker in.
5 million.
And then obviously 2 years later, sorry, he was only for a year, wasn't he, at Leicester? He was went on loan. Yeah, it's just shit. It was just shit. But Daka's worse. But yeah, Akinbaye, he had the muscles. You know, at least he had the muscles. You took a shirt off and you think, fucking hell, I'd like a body like that. But we just got past. Sorry, pass from fucking Daka. Jack loves him. Jack loves Patson Daka.
I like him as a person. I just don't rate him. I don't think he's good enough. I think he should have left sooner, if I'm honest with you. Nicest bloke on the planet, probably, Patson Daka. You know, he's great when you talk to him and that, and you know, he's got great personality and that, but his football just doesn't match it, does it? Let's be fair. Asmir Begovic, he'll be in goal for Leicester at the weekend. He played for Stoke, even scored for Stoke from his goal.
Yeah, it was. I think it's still one of the longest, distance goals ever scored. He was absolutely fantastic for us. Begovic was one of my favourite keepers. He kept Jack Butland out the squad for so long, and then Butland come in and took over, and then Begovic went off to Chelsea. But he was brilliant. He was really good. He did a lot for our area as well. He was big into his charity work. Still think he has a lot to do with the area. He was a keeper before we got Victor Johansson, who a lot of fans wanted back. But we never got him. But yeah, he was a class keeper, absolutely brilliant. I know he's aging a little bit now. He's perhaps not the keeper he once was, but he's still a solid, experienced keeper. And yeah, like I say, going up against him, it's going to be tough because we know what we're up against with him.
Yeah, I think he's past them bloody Stoke days, mate, to be fair. I think he's just now to pass the experience on it to help, obviously, Jacob kick on as a keeper. But I just don't think he's much of a threat to Jacob for that number one. You know, we brought in Viates, the Spanish goalkeeper, and he's nowhere to be seen. So I'm thinking, who's going to really test him for that number one spot? And Begovic, it just isn't going to work. Tom Cannon's in there. But then you look at other goalkeepers, Peter Shilton, Gordon Banks, Daniel Everson. Daniel Everson, was he good for Stoke?
He wasn't there all that long. I think he was another loan, wasn't he? We didn't have him. We've had so many different keepers, and I think we had him on loan for a bit. He was just all right. He wasn't anything exceptional. But I know he's doing well again now, isn't he? He seems to have picked up form again. So yeah, he's one that, as a Stoke fan, you could sort of, without being disrespectful to Everson, you'd forget that he ever did play for Stoke. So he never really lit up the ground or did anything spectacular. But he doesn't stay in the memory as somebody who was terrible as well.
Fair enough. Graham Fenton, for any older heads of Leicester fans, by the way. Paul Gallagher played for Stoke and also had a little caretaking role at Stoke as well. Gallagher, good at free kicks, good at penalties. And what's your thoughts on him at Stoke, Carl?
Yeah, good player, good striker. We had him back in the Championship days as well. He was brilliant, very good. Just a reliable striker. And like I say, his penalties always used to be brilliant. His dead balls used to be brilliant. There'd be a lot of Stoke fans that don't sort of remember him because it was back in the Championship days. A lot of the younger fans that tend to know more about Stoke probably won't know the likes of Gallagher, but he was a good player for Stoke back in the day. You could enjoy watching him, and he'd always do a job for you. He'd always get in and he'd always score for you, and he was an handful. He was an handful for a striker.
One of the best penalty takers, in my opinion. Steve, what do you reckon? One of the best penalty takers for Leicester?
I would say that if you had to put your bet on somebody to score to save your life, it would be Paul Gallagher for me. I've always said that. The way he just turns around and then somebody did it in the Premier League and they were like, oh, we've never seen that before. And I'm thinking, yes, we fucking have. Paul Gallagher. Put some respect on his name, you dickheads.
Arne Goodlogson, Steve, 98, 2001.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, I'll be honest again. He was a decent player for Leicester, but I was 11. There's not I remember the '98 World Cup and it was winning the League Cup and stuff, but I couldn't tell you a lot about it. I was 11 years old.
Steve Guppy.
Yep.
Top
He's
player.
much better. Steve Guppy was a fantastic winger for Leicester, and
I
know he only played 4 games for Stoke, didn't he? In 2004 he played for Stoke, but fantastic player for Leicester, Steve Guppy.
Yeah, one of the best crosses of the ball. Mark O'Brien was the modern day Steve Guppy, Steve.
Yes.
2 great crosses of the ball, Lee Hendry, 2007. Yeah, he came in that relegation season, didn't he, at Leicester? Lee Hendry played for Stoke, 2006, 28 appearances. Russell Holt, I think he only played one. Russell Holt played 159 appearances. Where are we? Russell Holt, 1 appearance? Yeah, it is. Robert Huth played 159 appearances for Stoke, sorry. What was your thoughts on Robert Huth, Cole? As a defender, obviously you did send him out on loan to us in that January season, mate, and then gave him this for £3 million as well. So we do thank you for Robert Huth, by the way.
Yeah, he was a massive player for us. Absolutely brilliant. We had him and Shawcross at the back, and they were absolutely solid. He was one of the old-fashioned centre-backs, one to use vile. You knew you were up in a game against him. He's the sort of player that would absolutely smash a striker, let him know that he's there from minute one. Absolutely loved him. The second we loaned him out, it was when Mark Hughes started trying to get onto the Man City way of playing and started trying to play out from the back. We replaced him with a player called Philip Walshide, and that was the start of our demise from the Premier League. We sold the likes of him and Glenn Whelan, who were like the spine of the team. You need them sort of players in your squad. I wasn't bothered, and I still aren't bothered to the day of today about players passing out from the back. I like the old-fashioned centre-backs like Robert Huth, who will absolutely go through a player, and if the ball comes near him, rather than start trying to pass it or flick it round a striker, he'll just leather it out the way, and that's what you want with a defender, and he was fantastic for that. He's an absolute legend at our club, and he went on. We sold him to yourselves, and he went and won the Premier League, and I always remember he tried a clever free kick when he signed for you against us, and went out for a throw-in.
The best free kick I've ever seen in person. I'll be honest. We were like, yes, come on, Hoopy, smash it, top corner. And we were just like, oh, fuck it.
We were all sat behind the goal, thought to Robert Huth, this is going to go in. We just know it'd be the most Stoke thing ever for Sal Robert Huth, one of the best centre-backs we've had since the Premier League days. He's come back, he's going to smash this in. And then when it went out for a throw-in, it's absolutely brilliant.
At least he saw the funny side as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, to be fair, he's a class act. He still comes around Stoke. We've seen him a few times walking into the ground. I know he's got a lot to do with Leicester, but he's also big mates with Jonathan Walters, who's our sporting director. So we do always see him in and around Stoke. Just hoping that he doesn't pinch any of our players off us, to be honest with you.
No nonsense defender. Built that partnership with Wes Morgan, didn't he, Steve? They didn't pair, mate. If you walked up to them two as doorman in a nightclub, mate, you wouldn't want to get on the wrong end of them. To be fair, them pair, they'd absolutely nut you one, I think. And you, as a striker, you wouldn't want to play against them either.
Yeah. He was when we signed him. I was very, because I love Robert Huth. I've always loved Robert Huth when he was at Stoke, when he was at Chelsea before that as well. He's sort of player that. So there's a weird thing in where years ago when Kasper Schmeichel was at Notts County, I was thinking, I'd love to sign Kasper Schmeichel. That'd be great, and we did. And I had the same thing with Robert Hoof as well. I was like, well, I'd love to sign Robert Hoof, and then a few years later we did. And I mean, look, we won the Premier League, so it was the best sideways move he's ever made in his career. Let's be honest. Going to a relegated, threatened side and to win the league the next year, that's incredible. So, yeah, I love Robert Hoof. I don't think there's a single bad word to say about him in regards to his footballing ability, and also the tweets he used to put out. You know, there used to be like the cock and ball game, was it? That used to that was incredible as well. So, you know,
he did like the term "sexy football," though, didn't it?
He did. Yeah.
He's a proper nice bloke, though. You know, I know he loved to swing his elbows around a bit and pull Fellaini's hair at Man United away. That's the sort of character he is. And, you know, he did good things for us. Ben Marshall, another one who we had from Stoke. Loved a long-range shot, that bloke. And majority of the time it'd go in, but I think his attitude just let him down with his footballing ability. Carl, what was he like for you, lot?
To be honest with you, the name I don't remember him. Don't remember him playing for Stoke, so I can't comment too much on him. I don't know what year was it we had him.
I don't know. It's not on the list, but someone brought it up.
It must have been back early 2000s, perhaps. I don't seem to remember the name, to be honest with you, so I can't really go on and comment on how good or how bad he was for Stoke. He's sort of a player that I can't really recall the name of.
2009 to 2012, didn't play a single game.
That's why I can't remember him. I wasn't going to sit here and pretend I could say, "Oh yeah, he's fantastic."
Yeah, you were a great player. Next to that.
I have no idea of the name, and that's why.
Jerry Taggart played for both clubs. Did Jerry Taggart go from Leicester to Stoke, Steve?
No, he went from Leicester to Stoke. Yeah, sorry, yeah. He went from Leicester to Stoke.
I tell you what, he were an odd man in football and all. Tough, no.
Yeah, he was another no-nonsense man. He was a great watch. He was. He's a bit like the Robert Tooth of today. He'd knock a player down. I remember one game. I can't remember who we were against. He sort of shoulder barged somebody, stepped over him, grabbed him by the face, and said something to him, shoved him down, and carried on jogging. And it was just sort of a player that you love as a fan, isn't he? We've got Ben Pearson, who's like that now. Just horrible players, and they're the sorts of players I like.
Danny Tiato were one as well, actually, wasn't he, Steve? Loved a good challenge, mate. Leave it on you and carry on getting them yellow cards.
Yeah, the boldest man I've ever seen play for Leicester. Sorry, Jack. What did you say? Sorry.
They're the pantomime villains, aren't they? So, you know, you love them when they make them challenges, and then you think you're sort of looking at yourself on another flip of the coin and thinking, oh, for God's sake, man, stop making them challenges. You'll get sent off in the end.
Yeah, it was a bit of a hard man. Yeah, I'd say the boldest man I've ever seen play for Leicester, to be honest.
Nice
only second to watching you in the stands, Jack, because you're going there now with your hair. You're not far off there. So
my hairline's all right, mate. Not like yours, mate. Hey.
Yeah, I'm 35, mate. You know, it happens. You get to a certain age. You know, you're not far off.
Is that what you say? Is it the age you only use as that excuse, or what?
It's the age. And I've followed Leicester for longer than you have, so it's the rest of the stress from following the club for longer. You know.
I've been a Stoke fan for a long time, and I'm a bit older than you. I'm knocking on to 37 soon, and mine's okay.
That's all the good water in Stoke. That's what that is.
Costadal Stoke.
Matthew Upson, another one who played for both clubs. Gavin Ward, Harry Souttar. We signed out Harry Souttar for 15 million quid from Stoke. It just didn't work out for him, has it, Steve?
Well, not yet. He's injured, so you know he'll be back before the new year, and he might have a revival. I don't see it myself. I think he probably leaves in January if he gets the chance.
He'll go Sheffield United on loan, I reckon.
Yeah, wherever he goes to. But unfortunately, he was the victim of being in a relegated side that wasn't great, and then the changing of systems when we got relegated to a manager that wanted to play football out from the back, and Suter doesn't really suit that system all that well. So it's unfortunate for him. It was the worst place at the worst time, that's for sure. But he'll go on and have a decent career somewhere else.
I'd say so. You lot love Harry Suter, don't you, Carl? At Stoke, I know you lot said you'd hang back quite quickly if we'd offered you the chance to sign him.
Yeah, I think a couple of seasons ago we really wanted him. I think when you sent him out on loan to Sheffield United, I think most of our fans were screaming we should have been all over that. He come from our academy, so we bought him in from Scotland side, Scottish side. We bought him in and we put him straight into our academy, and we brought him up and he played a few games for us, and you thought there's a player in him, there's a real player in him, and then he got into the squad and he was fantastic. We turned him his £15 million move to you, and he really, really was a great defender. Absolutely fantastic. I can't speak highly enough of him. And I do think he's had a couple of bad injuries, hasn't he? But There's a player in there. There's a proper defender in there. He's very tall. He's gangly, but he's got a bit of pace about him. He can get back. He can get a tackle in. He wins headers. And yeah, probably now I think he would struggle to get back in our defence, because our defence is looking very good. We've got Ben Wilmot, Bosun Lawal, Creswell. Our defence is looking very good at the minute. But last season before, we'd have had him back in an heartbeat. Absolutely fantastic player.
Carl, what's your thoughts on the team ahead of the weekend? How do you feel?
I think it'll be the same as what we've been doing. It's like a 4-2-3-1 that we sort of play. We'll go for Creswell left back, Victor Johansson in goal, obviously. Bosun Lawal is fit again, but obviously we've also got Ashley Phillips, so I think it'll be Phillips and Wilmot because they've been doing well. Shamadou will be our right back, who likes flying up the wings. We'll probably have Pearson and Baker in the midfield with Manhoof on the right. We'll have Silver Thomas on the left. We'll go for Mabama up front, and then it's just that last position. It will probably end up being Bejuno, our Korean player, who will play just behind the striker. That's the lineup he usually goes with, and then he flicks it round. The midfield he does mix up a bit, but that's what I think he'll go with.
Steve, Leicester, what do you reckon? I think he'll make a few changes. Steve, obviously Ben Nelson's going to be out of this game. Begovic will stay in goal. What have we got? Luke Thomas left back, Ricardo right back. We've only got 3 centre-backs to choose from, so I think he's going to stick with Coley and Vestergaard. Midfield, put Jordan James back in at number 8 next to Harry Winks. Bobby Reid, number 10. And then how do you see the front? How do you see the front three? Do you think Mavididi will come back in on that left?
Yeah, Steffi, Abdul, and then Daka up front. I think that's how Daka up front.
Yeah, Jordan, are you, mate? Leicester fans cheer went off at Norwich.
Yeah, because he was shit. He's one of the worst players. No, I take that back. He's not one of the worst players because he's not Patson Daka. But he's the most frustrating footballer I've seen in a very long time. Who, as I said previously, if he came out wearing gloves at the weekend, I'd feel for Begovic in goal because he could take that position as well. He drops so deep that he's in the stands. You know, he's just somebody you can't have as a passenger, and he just is. Great.
Yeah, he's one of them who loves to go, does the defensive job, midfield job, and the striking job as well. We say they do the striking job. He's only scored 2 this season, so he's not really doing much of that. The front three ain't really effective, is it, Steve? Carranza, Daka and Dayu. Two goals between the three of them. It's not exactly outstanding news going into this Stoke game thinking, you know what, they've got a striker who can score goals past us. Oh, look, that's a threat for us. Nah, Stoke won't see it like that. Carl, what's your score prediction, mate, for the weekend? What do you reckon?
Obviously, I'd love 3 points. Big ask with our record against yourselves. I think we need to get back to some sort of result. So I'm going to go for a 1 each, but I'm also leaning towards a 2-1 win for yourselves just because our record's so poor against you.
Yeah, I'm going to stick my 2-1 Leicester. I'm going to go out and say we're going to win at the weekend. I did in the prediction, so I'm going to stick with it. Steve?
I've gone for a very optimistic 1-1 draw. That's as optimistic as I can be with Leicester City right now.
Fair enough. There we go. Carl, thanks for coming on, mate. Appreciate you.
No problem.
Your time. All the best for the rest of the season after the weekend, of course, until we play you again at the Bet365. Let everybody know where they can find you, mate.
Yeah. So again, it's on Where Potters Walk, which is on YouTube. You can also get it on Spotify if you don't want to look at their face for 20 minutes. It's just a 20-minute chat about all things Stoke related. Talk about other teams in the Championship as well. So, yeah, that's where you'll find me.
Lovely stuff. Cheers, Carl, mate. All the best.
Thanks very much. All the best.
Steve, that's it then. The talking's done, mate. On to the battle, mate, of the cities at the weekend. Hopefully we can overcome Stoke. It's not a game I'm confident with, but it's a big week for Leicester. On and off the pitch, to be fair. And we need some positive news from somewhere, Steve, because it's not really been a positive start for us, has it? But this points deduction thing hanging over our heads. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know how much you read into what Stefan Borson said, Steve.
Well, so he said 6 points, and that's without the additional charges, effectively. So you could see. Well, yeah. So what he said is that that's 6 points without the mitigation and without it, probably going into it because of the fact we've over by about 20 odd million pounds, which if you compare to the Forest and Everton cases, 4 and 6 points. So yeah, I think we'll get 6 points for that. It's just the other charges, the failing to put the accounts in on time, and then failing to cooperate with the EFL and the Premier League as well. That could see us getting a big fine. It could see us getting additional points deduction, or it could see us getting a transfer embargo. So we will find out before the January window whether or not we will get one of those free. Let's hope it's just a points deduction or a big fine. Let's not hope that it's a transfer embargo because the leaked. We're looking at 5 players. I mean, to me, it screams let's distract them from what's going on. Well, look, we're signing players. Look at this. When actually there's liquid shit coming out of the ground. So I honestly, I couldn't tell you what it's going to be. I've always said it will probably be 9 points. I'm sticking with 9 points at the moment, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah, I don't know where 9 points would put us in the table. I know it put us below Blackburn Rovers. Put us about 20th, I think it is, in the end. So I'm not sure, but Championship predictions is live on the channel. As we discussed the upcoming weekend of the Championship, Steve. Obviously, we've not really copied each other much this week, so it is week 16. It is out on the channel. Big week for big sort of for a couple of months now for all the clubs in the Championship from November till March. So there's no international break. Fantastic, and it's swap and change from Saturday, Tuesday. Stevie, you got your Bristol City tickets?
No, so I can't do Bristol City because I'm actually at a gig that night. So I'm strategically missing it on purpose. And also, I didn't get a derby ticket. I didn't get one in the end because I've got plans in the evening. So I thought, well, rather than wasting, like getting down there early and getting it sorted, I just can't be asked. So yes, I'm missing a couple of away games, but I'm at Southampton on Tuesday. And then I'll be back again. What's the away game? Oh God, what's the next away game after Bristol City?
Is it QPR?
Whoever it. Yes, QPR. Yes, that's right. Yes, because I'm at a gig on the Friday night, so I'll be in London anyway. So, yeah, plenty of football to go to, Jack. QPR, and then going into New Year with Sheffield United on January 1st. That'll be fun. And then the inbred lot in Coventry on the 17th of January. So plenty of away games to go to.
Lovely. Hit a like on this stream, subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you again for the next preview, probably at the weekend as we take on Southampton after that one. But cheers, everyone.